because right now CNN anchor Chris Cuomo is on day 2 of his, and we quote, long-planned birthday beach vacation. As journalists, we are not trained to believe in coincidences. If you do, that's up to you. Colby Hall isn't trained to believe in coincidences either. He's founding editor of MEDIAITE.com. Nice to see you. Are you Good to see you. Are you surprised that Andrew Cuomo, we'll be specific in which Cuomo brother we're talking about, lasted this long?
Well, I think I'm not a legal expert. I think your previous guest, Arthur, said it exactly right. I never thought his ego would allow him to step down. But when Letitia James' report came out, it was damning. And, you know, I think the die was cast. And the last week was all about a negotiation for as graceful as an exit as possible. And I think that's what we saw.
It was a graceful exit in a way that today. It was a powerful speech. He walked off, drove off in his own car, and then flew off with his daughter. And then that was in the morning. And then the afternoon, Joe Biden, for some reason, decided, let me just sort of jump right into the breach. We have that sound. Take a listen, and then we'll get your reaction.
Years as governor of the state.
In terms of his personal behavior or what he's done as a governor?
What he's done as a governor.
I thought he's done a hell of a job. And, I mean, both on everything from access to voting to infrastructure, to a whole range of things. That's why it's so sad.
Oh, boy. Then it went downhill from there.
Well, I mean, in defense of Joe Biden, you could say that he's not scripted. He's not micromanaged. Because you got to say that, you know, there was hundreds of people in the background that were following saying like, oh, no, don't go there. Don't say that. And by the way, you know, Cuomo did some good things, but there's like $120 million that he budgeted to light up bridges that has gone to waste. So it's not as though
there's also about like 10,000 people who died in nursing homes that he covered up as well.
Of course.
So that the president didn't bother talking about. I'm more interested in the media angle. What did you make of the back and forth between the president and Caitlin Collins? And it was clearly this sort of testy exchange where the president thought he was answering a question on the merits, and it was clearly not what the media was looking for.
Well, I think with Caitlin, she's a strong, fierce, independent reporter, and because she's employed by CNN, which is central to the story, she was doing a really good job of sort of showing her independence from the larger CNN aspect of the story, of course, with Chris Cuomo. So, you know, Caitlin Collins and other CNN journalists that are independent from that story have done a good job in going after that, which, you know, by comparison to the way that the executives at CNN have handled this, and then some other notable people, which has made a very bad situation impossibly much worse. So the CNN angle with Chris Cuomo and his vacation, which, by the way, if he had this vacation planned during sweeps week, or he went on this vacation during sweeps, I would say, yeah, that's weird. But it is the second week in August, so I don't know whether or not it's a coincidence or not. You know, Tucker Carlson himself went to bat for Chris and said, yeah, he was on vacation. So I mean, it's reasonable to be skeptical, but it is the second week in August where most people do take a vacation.
Well, fair enough, and not a bad time to have your brother resign as well. We also have defended Chris and said, you know, if your sibling called and said, I needed help, which Chris Cuomo's sibling did call and say, I need help, would you say no? No, you'd help your sibling in a time of need, and then you deal with the results later. You point out, though, that the people who've come out sort of looking the worst in this is the CNN executives for how they've dealt with it. You've pointed that out on the site, and Eric Wemple, the media critic for the Washington Post, pointed out last night on the show. Take a listen.
That was a low point for Brian Stelter. I felt that he completely towed the CNN PR line on this whole thing. He minimized the ethical dimensions of this crisis. He minimized what Chris Cuomo did here in helping his brother try to respond to these allegations. This was a complete whitewash. And it's a low for that particular program and perhaps for the network.
What's your guys reporting at MEDIAITE? You have fantastic sources inside the networks. Are people at CNN, the executives, worried about this, or they feel as though come Monday it's going to be over?
Well, I don't really know yet. I think it's been such a fluid story at the highest level, executive level at CNN. I think that they have been in damage control, and I think they're realizing that they may have misplayed this. I will say that my sources at CNN that are sort of like, mid-management or not quite the executive suite, are all sort of talking. They're all sort of upset, and they don't get why this has been so poorly handled. That the executives making the decisions about Chris Cuomo's coverage and this whole ordeal, that they were too close to it, and that colored their decision process. So, like I said earlier, it was a really bad decision, and I agree with what Eric said about Brian. Normally does great work, but the network nor Brian Stelter paraded themselves in glory, and it strains credulity that they weren't in consort about this whole thing. So, it's a tough situation, and I feel like it's still unfolding, and it's not clear what exactly will come from this with regard to Chris.
So Andrew Cuomo being gone, you don't think sort of allows CNN to wash their hands of it?
Well, I don't. I think that the damage is done with regard to, there's a line in golf that, cheaters always cheat, and golf has a long memory. And I wouldn't say that Chris Cuomo is a cheater, but journalism has a long memory. And when you sort of break journalistic standards by not disclosing a relationship with Andrew, his brother, and interviewing him in good times, and then when things go south, well, and you suddenly can't cover him, well, that's not proper journalism. And so I think Chris is going to have to, he's going to have to earn back the respect of his viewers through candor, through honesty, through contrition. And actually, those are three of the aspects. That's what Chris Cuomo does really well. So I think he'll be fine. I just think that it will be interesting to watch it unfold. And again, I think Chris wasn't done any favors by the executives at CNN. They put him in a really impossible spot.
Probably also earned back the trust of the executives as well. Colby, I knew there was a reason I liked you, and then you brought golf into a conversation about CNN. We're good for a life, my friend. Good to see you.
There you go. Good to see you, too.
All putts within 6 feet are good. Finally,
there we go.
There's a political earthquake brewing. In 2 weeks, Cuomo is going to officially be out. His lieutenant governor will be in. But even before his fall from grace, Republicans were eyeing a play for deep blue New York. So